Hello, fabulous Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of February 2014, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, where it comes to love, I was reminded of something that I've seen demonstrated in many ways in many areas of life with many different people. And it's this notion that you have to be really careful when you talk to someone, talk to a friend or someone who asks you for their opinion about a new love or an interest in love, or even somebody that they seem to have been with for a while, or maybe not been with for a while, but seem to have a very strong bond with, connection to. They seem to be very invested in this connection going somewhere that they desire it to go. You do need to be careful with that, and you need to be careful how it is that you express an opinion, because you never want to put yourself in a place where you are on one side, you as the friend are on one side, and the interest, whether it's a partner or whether it's a romantic connection, or even if it's just somebody who there's an attraction to, you never want to put yourself directly opposite that person, because that puts the friend in a very difficult situation. And it puts the friend in a situation where they end up having to choose. And chances are, because relationships involve so many emotions, relationships and intimacy have a way of reaching deep into our psyche, way back to a place from before we could even speak, really, and has a way of touching on a lot of different buttons, if you will. And because of that, because they tend to be environments of great intimacy, of great trust, when a friend aligns themselves opposite a love interest or a partner in particular, it's very hard for the friend to win. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I do see a scenario reminiscent of this larger lesson that I've seen played out again and again coming up for you this month. And it's either going to be you as the friend or you as the person seeking advice who is connected to somebody that you are either interested in or that you are already aligned with. So you want to be mindful, first of all, of the words that you are saying, regardless of which side you fall on. And you also want to be mindful of the advice that you are receiving. So what are you giving, the advice, the words that you're saying? How are you articulating when an opinion is asked of you? But also, how are you articulating whatever you are asking about, whatever advice you're asking about? And this gentle balance is going to be something not only that you have to be mindful of, but then there's another step to this, which is to take all information with a grain of salt and to be very mindful of that ultimately what other people's opinions are really have nothing to do with you. Your intuition ultimately is the one that is going to lead you in a direction that is where your learning is. And you know, on a level of soul, on a level of spirit, where your learning is. And your own inner voice, your inner authority should never, ever take second place to anyone or anything else where it comes to making choices that are right for you. So let me break this down a little bit, because if you are in an established alliance, what I see as a very likely scenario is you're asking somebody for advice. It's a very likely scenario. And then you're going to have to decide what it is that you're going to do with it. Chances are that a friend may speak an opinion or give you a perspective on your partner that you're not really sure what to do with. Okay, for some of you, it may be something that feels uncomfortable. Yet for others of you, it may be something that feels like this is them stepping out of what is appropriate and really is not of their concern. And it isn't so much that it's not their concern, more like you have a part of you that you know your partner in a way that is personal and that is different from maybe the way other people know this person. And it doesn't mean that just because your partner is being perceived one way, that is necessarily the truth for you and the truth in your experience. But that's going to be up to you to decide in your soul searching based on that opinion that you get. And those of you who have a romantic interest, what I am seeing is a likely scenario of you reaching out, getting some advice. Maybe at first it feels okay, but maybe you might reach out a second time. Mercury is retrograde. You might reach out a second time, wanting to discuss sort of the same thing, some intense feelings coming up, and the way in which the advice is delivered does not feel right to you, does not sit right to you. And so regardless of what situation does come up for you, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad, because as I said, there's a huge part of choice in this and a huge empowerment as well, because it can be really amazing to watch what happens in these scenarios in terms of how that affects your attraction, how that affects your alliance. And what I've seen again and again happen is when some external force or external person behaves in a certain way that seems to speak to the bond that you share with another person, it leads to a more honest evaluation of that bond. And a lot of times it tends to be a gift when somebody shares their perspective or has a certain influence. It tends to be an indirect gift, or maybe a gift that they didn't expect, that actually moves you closer to the other person, moves you closer to the person that you care about, that you trust, that you want a stronger bond with. You don't have to make it an either or situation. It certainly doesn't have to be. And you are in charge of that, certainly. You can continue to be gracious, and you can continue to be smart and mindful of how you are coming across the words that you are using, and also the information that you are gathering. All in all, you are learning more about another person thanks to a friend, and thanks to some indirect information that you receive, which in turn will help you to really understand where you are now in love and where it is that you would like to go. Next month, I'll talk about the big breakthroughs that are coming up ahead for you in love. Next month does promise to be a standout moment of the year where it comes to alliances and partnerships and love. And so this is the month for you to sort of understand the different perspectives, get your perception right, because next month is a time of big and very bold and very positive changes. And I'll be here to talk more about that then. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.